Hi, good afternoon. My name is Magnora Brown, and today I will be presenting my business communication project. My topic for this project is downward and upward communication for workplace. The reason for me choosing this topic is because not many people realize how often downward and upward communication is used at work, and not many people know the difference between downward and upward communication. So how about we start? What is downward communication? Downward communication occurs whenever leaders or managers send messages to their lower level employees. Downward communication is usually one directional, which means higher level communicator does not invite a response from the lower level recipient. Examples of downward communication. An example of downward communication is explaining an organization's mission or vision, or assigning directives, or giving job instructions, and providing feedback. 5 identified benefits of effective downward communications are better coordination, improve individual performances, improve consumer relations, and also improve industrial relations. So how about we move on to upward communication? What is upward communication? Upward communication is information moving from lower level employees to higher level employees. This is also called vertical communication. Examples of upward communications. An example of upward communication is when workers report to a supervisor or when the team leaders report to the department manager. Items communicated upward usually include progress reports, proposal for projects, budget estimates, grievances, and complaints. For example, when a customer or anybody has a problem with you or with anything and you can't seem to solve it, who do you go to? Your supervisor or your team lead, and also your department manager. Here are some advantages of upward and downward communication. Upward communication can convey what employees are doing, which unsolved problems they are facing, how areas might be improved, and how employees feel about one another in the workplace. Also, examples of advantages for upward communications: development of a plan, motivating employees, and also providing constructive feedback. Advantages of downward communication: follows the organization's hierarchy, which means the organizational discipline and member compliance is much easier to maintain. Some other advantages is efficiency, effective communications of goals. Some disadvantages of downward and upward communication. One main disadvantage is slow feedback for downward communication. Slow feedback means it takes time for the messages to go down the organization, then up the organization, then back down to the organization. This means that the feedback can be slow, resulting in problems, especially in a dynamic environment. Other disadvantages are distortion and not motivating. Upward communication disadvantages can result in resistance from employees, fear of incompetence, indecisive superiors, messages not being heard, and unwillingness to admit to failure, along with changes of information, indiscipline, and bypassing. This is my works cited page. Most of the information I got is from her book from class, Communicating at Work. And also, some of my information came from Principles of Management and Study.com. I hope this presentation gave you a little bit of an idea of how downward and upward communication works. And hopefully next time you witness upward communication, you can point it out, along with downward communication. Like I said before, not many people know the difference. And once you learn the difference, it'll shock you. You'll realize that, oh, what they just did was downward communication, which, like I said in the beginning, occurs in every workplace. A message passed down from the higher level to the lower level. And they expect you to get the job done. Which can also, how can I say it? This can also cause less of a problem. See, when a supervisor tells a manager to tell you to do something, it causes less conflict with the supervisor because you think the information is coming from the manager, but the information is really coming from the supervisor. And who's going to go directly to their supervisor and go off on them? So, like I said before, I hope this presentation gave you a little bit of an idea of what upward and downward communication is, and I hope I explained it well. Thank you.